Hello and welcome to this edition of ET Now Hangouts with me, Ankita Saxena. Well, I'm back with yet another exciting episode of meaningful conversations and the latest trends. Well, my first guest on the show is a climate optimist, as he likes to call himself. Aakash Ranison is a climate change warrior, a climate change activist, and author and artist. He is in the list for Forbes India Top 100 Digital Stars and also been awarded the Climate Warrior of the Year 2022 and 2023 by Cosmopolitan. He's also authored India's first carbon neutral book, I'm a Climate Optimist, an easy guide to a sustainable life. Hi Aakash, welcome to ET Now Hangouts. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you for calling me on board.
Aakash, I saw your book. It says, I'm a climate optimist, and two interesting things actually. I want to talk about that also because that is also an important part of the change. Your name is Aakash Ranison. Why Ranison? I just read the first page of your book and it says Rani is your mother's name, Rani's son. What's the story behind that?
Simple. So there's this one guy I really love, Simon Sinek, and he talks about start with why. I was cycling from Chennai to Bangalore in 2015 and I was having a conversation with myself where I asked his question to me, why my name is what it is. So I could explain Aakash is like wide open, my mom gave it to me and confident. Then the second name Mishra, it comes from a father, family and religion and caste and community, which I do not really align much with because first of all, the community was dividing, caste was dividing, and then religion is something which I respect. Hinduism is a very good religion institution, but I don't think that I'm a good student of that institution because I'm not following all the rules and regulation which one should, and that's why I felt that I should step out of this institution rather than spoiling the name and image of it. And then also my father, who was there, like didn't really play a good role for me and my mom, so we got separated from him. And then I felt that what is a name? Name is an identity. What is my identity? People were addressing me as Rani ka beta. Nobody was really saying Mishra ji ka beta. So I'm like, hey, my mom is my identity, who's taking me everywhere, who's working so hard to give me the life I have. And that's when I thought, okay, I need to change my name. My name should be my real name, not just anything whatever the society or people have given me. And I changed it to Aakash Ranison, Aakash Rani's son.
Rani's son, all right. So Aakash, tell me, let's come to your book now, which is again a very important part of a social change, in fact climate change. You say you are a climate optimist. You don't call yourself an activist, but an optimist. Now, given the kind of temperature rise that we've seen this year alone, I mean, across the country, we had soaring temperatures that swept across the nation. Also, we had a rainfall deficit in June. This month, let's hope that it makes up for it. The climate change is for real. What is making you so optimistic about it? Why are you a climate optimist?
I'm optimistic because I'm looking towards the solution.
Okay.
And whatever you think, you become, right? You attract it. So I want to make sure that I put people at a place where they can focus on solution, and also that by being angry with people, by being pushy with them, I cannot convince them to come on the same page with me and then solve it.
So do you think the activists do that?
To a certain level they do, and I support them. I 100% support it because see, it's a good cop, bad cop game, right? It's like mom and dad.
You're the good cop.
Right, yeah. Also start just keep on shouting, and which I'm not saying it's wrong. Even there are friends of mine who go protest on streets of around the world.
Throw water or food on paintings. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Colors on painting. And I totally support it. It's just I don't do it. My friends do it, and I'm very happy with them, and I support them. They should keep on doing it because leaders not going to listen to you if you keep talking to them in a very kind and polite tone. They take you for granted, right? Until I really show you who I am and I can really make the change and I can really take away your vote and your seat, that's when, oh shit, now we need to listen to this person, right? So I'm totally okay with them and I'm really proud of them, what they do.
So what is your take on these global activists like a Greta Thunberg or the angry activists, as you call them?
I'm totally okay with them. All these emotions are part of us. Like even I get angry at times, right? I can't get away from these emotions. Every human have all of these emotions. It's just where do you want to use it? Bhagat Singh was also angry at a time, right? Yes, he always had this smile on his face, even while he was walking towards his death. But then obviously he had anger. Like obviously we don't see it on his face, but that's what was driving him to get it done. So anger is a good thing. It doesn't come to you until you really love something, right? You should be really passionate, really in love with something, and somebody is trying to take away that or hurt that thing. That's when you get angry, right? Greta and so many of my other friends who are out there who are activists, they love nature. That's the reason they are angry. They are not foolish. They are not mad people. They're not just like out of their brain they are getting angry. They love something, and government policymakers are taking that that nature away from them, or the possibility of growth from animals of living in their habitat, they are taking it away, and that's why they are angry, and I support that.
Okay. So Aakash, we all know what is leading to climate change, whether it is, the emissions from the factories, the big corporates, or it is, the pollution by cars, vehicles, or, we know the reasons, the use of plastic, or even on a very personal level, we are using plastic, we are throwing plastic. We all know the reasons for climate change. What, according to you, is the biggest challenge in the way of climate change and environmental sustainability?
See, one of the biggest changes which I would say is lack of knowledge.
Okay.
Majority of the people, public out there, they do not know that it is happening and how it is impacting them.
Yeah.
And that's why they are okay with participating into activities which themselves are causing climate change, but they are not aware of it first. And second, that they are supporting companies, brands, and policymakers and government leaders, that they are okay with whatever the government people are doing, because they don't know of it. They are still, let's say, stuck with education, with road, or with house, or with money, or with jobs and employment. So they are seeking that. And again, I totally understand, that's fine. But again, education system is really lacking behind. They are not awareing people about this side of the crisis. It's like, you have a good job, you have a home, and you have money, and you have food. But then the climate is not in your support. What are you doing with that money, home, and food? There's a flood out there. Right? So lack of knowledge is one of the biggest thing which I would feel.
Right, Aakash, let's get social media into the picture. Now, while you're speaking of awareness, social media is a big tool to spread awareness, but at the same time, the social media has also given rise to a lot of mindless consumerism. Outfit of the day, OOTD, OOTN, outfit of the night, and the kind of promotion that social media is doing, it has only led to consumerism and fast fashion. What do you have to say to that? Because in a day and time where people are buying more and more stuff, how do you lead a life that is sustainable and more minimalistic?
So I think obviously, see, everything you have can be used in two ways, yin and yang, right? Positive or negative. I always give this example to people that somebody, a bodybuilder who has like a very strong body, can do two things. One, he can really go and punch someone, or in the another situation, he can help someone save, right? If somebody else is hitting you, or a car is coming towards you, and he can take you away and save your life. So this strength can be used in two ways. That's how social media also runs, right? That we can use it for a positive change, that we can bring awareness to people, and they can choose the right thing, versus we can promote our thing. And most of the people are happy with themselves. So they are seeking external validation that, okay, I'm going to dress so good that people will appreciate me. So I'm going to click a picture, then post it there so people can appreciate me. They'll drop a comment or like or share and everything. That's what we are seeking. And brands thrive on it, right? My insecurity is what's making money for these brands. So yes, climate change is obviously a scientific problem, but the problem starts from your understanding of life, your insecurities, and your mental health. If you can really bring a healthy person, the healthy person would be really living a very different life. Hardly of consumption, not really buying new clothes, fancy clothes every other day, phones, gadgets, and everything. Or it's a thing. Whenever somebody wants to be mentally healthy, they take a detox from social media.
Right.
So I think, it's a bigger problem than just science. It's our lifestyle which is really bad.
So, what, according to you, are the steps, or what should the people of today, because the generation, the Gen Next is the future of our country and the world. What are the steps that they should take in order to build a more sustainable living? And you can't always be a minimalist, given, of course, there's so much of pressure also around. But how should one live their lives, or, what are the steps that one can take that's more conscious of, the environment?
If I can really be in love with myself, I am in love with nature, right? But if we talk about practical solutions, so one is, if you really want to be wearing fancy clothes, start doing thrifting, or second-hand clothes, or renting and returning it back, right? Or borrowing it from your friends and family. That's a good way to go ahead. I have friends who do it on a regular level, and I've seen, even in the book, I have mentioned a few online shops or offline shops from where you can buy second-hand clothes or thrift, right? So that is something you can do, where you are wearing fancy clothes regularly, and even you can partner with, let's say, labels who are giving away their clothes for you to wear, and you can credit them on social media. Do that rather than buying a piece of clothes, wearing it once, and then throwing it away. Then another one is when it comes to food, be mindful of the food. Like the way people say that, okay, let's try Mexican today, let's try Chinese today. I would say, okay, for a day, let's try plant-based today, right? I'm not pushing you to go 100% plant-based today, but why can't we try it as well? Stop putting a negative stigma on plant-based food. Everyone is eating plant-based food, and if you hate so much plant, stop eating plant. Just stick 100% to animal. You can't do that. You will need plant. Where is your herbs coming from? Where are your masalas and everything coming from? That's plant. Don't eat it if you hate it so much.
I was coming to the topic of conscious food consumption. There are more and more people who are moving towards veganism, but there's a lot of criticism for that, in the sense that they call it it's elitist. Not everybody can afford an avocado or an almond milk. What do you have to say to that?
I am really sorry on the behalf of vegan community. I don't know who are these people. I don't know the whole community saying this or not, but there are some people. I'm sorry on behalf of them. Eating avocado is not veganism, right? Yes, it comes from a plant, but
it's just an example, like say an almond milk.
Yeah, almond milk, or even what we call palm oil, right? All of these things are causing harm to environment, and I accept and I acknowledge that. What I'm saying is, I don't know who are the people promoting this thing. I'm 100% sure they are not in touch with environment. See, people go vegan for different reasons. One is environment, another one is animal cruelty, and third one could be, let's say, health. So people who are going vegan for the sake of animal and for the sake of what do we call health, they'll be very okay to promote palm oil and avocado and other things, because this is not causing any harm to the animal and to their health, right? Anything after a limit is not sustainable. If you consume a sustainably produced piece of cloth, you can make it unsustainable, because you start buying it again and again, and you're throwing it after wearing it once. That's unsustainable, right? So हिंदी में वो लाइन होती है ना, हद किसी भी चीज़ की अच्छी नहीं होती, अति किसी भी चीज़ की अच्छी नहीं होती. That's what I'm saying. Even I have a tattoo here which says balance, with the alchemy sign of earth, that if you want to fix climate change on earth, you have to live a balanced life.
So Aakash, we've spoken about conscious consumption of clothes, of food. We've talked about veganism, sustainable living, but climate change needs a lot of governmental push as well. Government policies that shape the environment, and it's a very important integral part of climate change and sustainability. Tell us, if you are given a choice, what would be your ask from the government in terms of policy and policy framing?
See, before I first jump onto the government, I just want to say one thing before that. Government offers what people are seeking. People need to change what they are seeking. People are constantly seeking different things, but not a good environment.
Right.
And if I can ask something, I would say declare climate emergency. Right? This is the best thing you can do. Declare it. There are so many other nations who have already declared climate emergency in their nation. What are we waiting for?
So Aakash, you also work with the Paris Peace Forum, and there's something known as the Loss and Damage Fund. What is that? How does that work? It's a very interesting thing. Tell our viewers, what does that mean?
Okay, so on a global scale, if you zoom out and if you see different countries, there are few nations who are not really emitting that much of carbon emission or methane emission, or not even building industries over there, and the consumption is not to the level as compared to the other countries. For example, here in this case, Barbados is one nation, another one is US or France or Germany. We can obviously say Barbados is not really emitting or using or let's say consuming natural resources at the pace or rapid stage as much as these other three nations are doing. But now what if there's a flood or there's a natural disaster caused or influenced by climate change which hits Barbados? Is it their fault? No, right? Obviously it's the fault of the nations which are emitting more carbon emissions out there. So this loss and damage fund, it's a new thing which is accepted for the first time in last COP28, which happened in Dubai in 2023 in November, December sometime. I forgot the dates. I was there, but then for the first time we accepted as globally all the nations that yes, loss and damage funds exist. Now what does this fund do? All these nations which are going through these natural disasters, who are facing it, who are fighting it because of climate change, other nations who have emitted so much of carbon emissions or methane emissions out there must pay for these nations, right? Because where are they going to get this money from? They are tiny nations, they don't have industries, they don't generate that sort of a GDP. other nations generate because they use environment to that level. Hence, a loss and damage funds, that all the nations who feel that they have sort of like have burnt the loss as in because of climate change, they can come to this forum with UN and put their points forward that okay, we believe that we haven't really done this climate change as sort of like impact, but we are facing the repercussions of it. So other nations who are emitting this should pay us. And this negotiation takes place with Paris Peace Forum, where all the biggest of the biggest world leaders like President Macron or President Lula and even Antonio, the General Secretary of United Nations, come over there. Even Nirmala Sitharaman ma'am was there from India at one of the negotiation when I was there. So yeah, all the leaders come together. We have a negotiation over there, and then these negotiation, the conclusion is then being presented into United Nations COP28 and COP29, which now we are looking forward to.
All right, Aakash, thank you. This was a very insightful and an eye-opening conversation, and more power to you. Hopefully, all the the Gen Z who are watching this show will learn a lot and wake up to the climate change, which is absolutely real and happening. But thank you so much for joining us in the studio.
Thank you, Ji.
And well, after that insightful conversation, it is time for us to slip into a short break. Don't go anywhere. After the break, we're getting you a lot more.